Condo prices are declining in 92% of the Florida housing market. Single-family residences are declining in 66% of the Florida housing markets. So, the big question, drum roll please, are we ready to admit that we are in a bubble? Are we ready? Are we finally ready to admit that we are in a housing bubble? I said it in late 2023 and all of you jumped on me. Not all of you. The smart ones sat back, took a thoughtful approach and said, could she have a point here? In all of 2024, I said the same thing. I tried to help you. I told you don't spend your money, wait it out. Now listen, I will say that there are some holes in the Swiss cheese where you could get a good deal in 2024. But for the most part, if you are a regular Joe buyer and you were looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, I told you, I implored you to wait it out, because there's going to be brighter days on the horizon. And some of you were wise and listened and took a thoughtful approach. Others jumped into the market, and you are literally, it's kind of like a car that you drove off the lot and you lost value the second you pulled out on the Tamiami Trail. You lost value. And I tried to help you. But people don't listen. So are we ready? Are we ready, my friends here at Connect to Florida, to finally admit that we are in a housing bubble? Let's talk about some markets that are suffering. Markets that I'll just say, we'll just agree that they're on the banana peel. Can we put it that way? If you don't want to say bubble, let's say that they have 1 foot on the banana peel and they're going down. So the biggest year-over-year condo price declines, We're going to do single family residences in a minute. Are number 1, Punta Gorda. We talk about Punta Gorda. I warned you of Punta Gorda. I told you the only thing in Punta Gorda is Fisherman's Village, and really outside of that, there's nothing else. And how many times can you go to Fisherman's Village? You know what I mean? Number 2, Northport. I warned you about Northport. I told you Northport is a rural area where there's less rules, but problems. But some of you felt like, okay, Northport is the one-off to maybe Sarasota, maybe Fort Myers. Maybe you thought Northport was the one-off to Naples. It is not. It is not any of those things. Northport is a rural, affordable part of Florida that's okay-ish proximity to some beaches if you want to drive for at least an hour. All right, so number 2, Northport. Condos are down 8.9%. The Villages.
You did not. Don't say the Villages out loud.
You did not say the Villages. Yes, ma'am. The Villages are number 3 at 8.4%. Now listen, before somebody tells me there are no condos in the Villages, they're talking about townhomes. Okay, so, keep this in mind. I know that the Villages is predominantly single-family homes, but they are number 3 on the list, if that gives you any idea, in decline, 8.4%. Number 4, Panama City. Number 5, your favorite and mine, Cape Coral. And listen, there aren't that many condos in Cape Coral. It really is predominantly single-family homes. So how they managed to make the list, they managed. 8.2%. Number 6, Tampa, Florida. 7.9%. Sebastian, Florida, number 7, 7.7%. Lucy, down 7.3%.
Wait a minute. Does that say Naples?
Number 9, Naples, Florida. They made the top 10 in year-over-year condo price declines in Florida. I cannot believe that. 7.2%. So for those of you that said the only solid bet is in Naples, Florida, I don't know. Might want to rethink that. And number 10, Deltona at 6.6. All right, let's talk about single family homes. Now, across the board, single family homes are doing better than condos in terms of decline. Why is that? Well, the obvious, because single family homes are not being hit the same way that condos are with all the new rules and regs. But there are some substantial numbers that are hitting single family homes. So let's jump into that information. So the biggest year over year single family home price declines in the Florida market. Number 1, Punta Gorda again. And I just can't stress it enough. I have warned you about Northport and Punta Gorda and always Cape Coral. I always try to warn you that these markets are iffy. I have warned you that Punta Gorda, Northport, and Cape Coral, they are questionable markets, and they just so happen to be number 2 and number 3. Now, you know what? The one saving grace for Punta Gorda, in my opinion, is probably Babcock Ranch, because if you didn't know, Babcock Ranch, and I do have a video coming out on Babcock Ranch, so that'll probably be the next video that you see. But I did a video on that because a lot of people are asking about it. There's a lot of good things about it. There's some less than good things about it. But in that video, we dive into both. But Punta Gorda is technically Babcock Ranch. So it does sit in that area. A lot of people think that Babcock Ranch is Fort Myers. It is not. It is Punta Gorda. So I think that the popularity of Babcock Ranch is the saving grace for Punta Gorda, because I think those numbers would look a lot worse. All right, number 5, Palm Bay, Florida. Number 6, Sebastian, Florida. Number 7, Key West. And I think that is a direct result of all of the hurricane threats, the hurricanes that have hit, the near misses on the hurricanes. It just scares people. Number 8, Panama City, Florida. Number 9, Crestview, Florida, which is not a town that we talk about so much. And then again, Deltona, Florida. All right, so how did this happen? Why did this happen? What the heck is going on? Are we really truly in a bubble? And listen, I'm going to tell you, yes, we are in a bubble. Call it what you want. You can just say it's on the banana peel if that makes you feel a little bit better, but we are definitely in a bubble. This, in my opinion, feels worse, and I've been saying this since 2023, it feels worse to me than 2005 to 2008, and then really 2011, you could pick up whatever you wanted at pretty much any price. I feel that coming on, and it's not just my feeling, it's in the data. If you look at the data, it is there. When I pull up certain areas, when I pull up Naples single family homes and I look and see what's on the market at present, it is absolutely through the ceiling. Every single 24-hour cycle, the numbers are just increasing by multiple hundreds. Not just like, 50 new properties came up on the market. I am talking about multiple hundreds of properties. Now, if you remember, if you kind of let yourself go back down memory road, what was the tipping point? Back in 2005 to 2008, what was the tipping point? It was the overbuilding, the overdevelopment. That was the tipping point to put the market over and burst that bubble. And let me tell you, think about this, folks. Is that happening? Have we learned anything? Because I would argue that we have absolutely not. It's the same problem. And the builders are doing what they did before. Only even worse, they're holding inventory back. That's the inventory that I talk about, that I call secret inventory, hidden inventory, but the proper name for it, we refer to it as shadow inventory. It's there, but you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it because they don't want the numbers to look even worse than what they look like. Now, how do you know that the builders are sort of in that tipping point mode? Number 1, they're hiding inventory. Number 2, they're giving away the farm. They're reducing prices by $100,000, $150,000. They're doing rate buy downs. They're giving away golf carts. They're putting pools in for people. They're giving furniture packages. all kinds of incentives for people to buy. Fine. What ends up happening when they do that? What ends up happening is that gap that they're trying to fill in, that gap that they're trying to fill in with these giveaways eventually is going to give way and fall through. And that is when you see that bubble burst, because people's values are going to be overinflated because they thought, oh my gosh, I got such a great deal because look, I got a golf cart and they gave me this pool. This little cocktail pool that nobody is going to want when I go to sell, but they gave that to me for free, but I didn't get anything off the cost of the home. The values are all over the place. You generally, with new construction, you want to see it builds. Let's say at phase 1, the pricing is $400,000. As they move into phase 2, maybe that's $450,000. Phase 3, $500,000. When you're up here at phase 4, and your numbers at phase 4 are $150,000 lower than they were at phase 1, we have a really serious problem. And on top of that, we have an insurance crisis. We all know it. We know the governor is doing everything that he can. Governor DeSantis is doing what he can. Love him or hate him, neutral, whatever it is, wherever you stand, he's doing what he can to try to fix it. But to some degree, this is a fireball that has picked up steam. So everything around it has been sucked into this vortex. And by that I mean the roofing companies are now involved in it. The supply chain is involved in it. Everybody that touches on this spinning fireball is being sucked in like a vortex. And that's where the problem comes in. And you know who the victim is in all of this? Ultimately, it ends up being me and you, the buyers and the sellers of these properties. And then listen, some of you may not agree with me on this, depending on how much you've thought this through or if you're in the market for a home right now. But the whole lawsuit thing and the whole judgment thing, and supposedly, you know, we're going to get rid of the fat cat real estate agents. Did any of that happen? Did prices go down at all? Because the judgment's been in for a while. Did prices go down at all? Yeah, they haven't. They have not. You know why? Because it was never the fat cat real estate agents. Now listen, I'm not telling you that there's not somebody out there that is a fat cat real estate agent. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying the industry as a whole, the agents do not set the prices of the home. The markets, the buyers, what a buyer is willing to pay for a property, your 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home, that sets the pricing, the market pricing. Buyer demand sets the pricing, not the real estate agents. So if the thought process was these X amount commissions, whatever that number is, X amount commission was the problem, and these prices have been inflated because of this great big commission. If that's the case, why haven't the prices come down? Because the sellers are still pricing their properties with compensation in mind, with commission in mind. They're looking at the comps and they're saying Jim and Jan got $600,000, Bill and Susan got $600,000, Jan and Earl got $600,000. All 3 of those people paid a X% commission. I'll make it up. Let's just say they paid out $36,000 in commission. But you don't want to pay any commission. Did you reduce the price of your home by $36,000? No, you did not. So I've made my case. I could go on, but I will not. But all of these things, and there's more, listen, there's more. There are so many holes in this bubble, and if you look at it like a balloon, every single month or two, there's just somebody showing up with a little pin. And eventually, it loses air and it comes down, and I'm telling you, I really feel that deflation is going to start in the off season of 2025. So get ready. As always, if I can help it, all my contact information is down below in the description box.